G'day viewers, it's Michael here again and welcome back to SingleRacer. And today's video is a simple subscriber request done by Simon Olsen, who asked me what I might think of the Formula Vintage class within Automobilista 2, the kind of cars made famous in the 60s from that classic racing game Grand Prix Legends. And I have to admit right up front that not only is this car tremendous, especially sliding on all four wheels around a corner, but all the cars, or most of the cars in the game, especially given their rarity compared to, your standard GT3, and I'm not knocking ACC here, but just your general games that are common throughout all racing sims. These are the more unusual cars, and I have to say they're absolutely fantastic, especially when you're hot lapping. But as we tick over daylight savings here in Australia, and what I mean by that is the cooler weather, last night was the first time that I really had the chance to set up the rig, the wheel and the VR and really have quite a few hours to explore the game and its limits. And I have to say that there were a couple of little bugs. Now please keep in mind, or I keep in mind, that this is still a beta and can be improved. And overall, I'm so rapt I got this game. I definitely am glad I got the game, but there's just a couple of little bugs that I'd like to talk about that I found quite annoying. And so, just to answer your question directly, Simon, what do I think of this car in particular? Fantastic. Another, I've always liked the Lotus 49, so this fits in well with that type of car. But the one thing that I think the sim as a whole, but all the cars within the game have made me realise is, and I'm not knocking it here, but just the limitation of the G29. I've never had to short shift so much. Now mind you, I'm not skilled at driving those turbo-like cars, something like the Lotus 98T where it just completely goes ballistic when it hits the turbo range. So, but I've realised that with the other cars as well, is that you have to have such a gentle foot, and you'll see in the video just how wild I get sometimes, and especially the braking. Now, I've often commented in the past that my brother Andrew has a proper rig, a big sim rig, solid thing with the Fanatic DD1 direct drive wheel and the whole shebang, and as soon as I get in that I feel like a different driver. So it's made me realise that the limitation of the G29 really hits home when you're trying to drive on the edge. And so, given it's still in a beta build version number, what are my two biggest current gripes with AMS2? Well, the first one was experimenting with the stock car, kind of classic 60s car, and I was driving or testing out one of the Brazilian tracks and went onto the grass, and of course it's because of the track, not the driver, as we all know. And I was trying to get back onto the track, but I was spinning in a circle, and I looked down and I was doing like 30 or 40 kilometers an hour, and I thought it seemed so unrealistic that I just couldn't get the grip back, even though I was going so slow but still spinning in a circle. So that was frustrating. But the biggest gripe that I have, that I also read a comment by SimRacing604, was just how low you seem to have the AI, the AI's ability that you're racing against. When you have it at 70, 80, 90, they just seem to leave you for dead. And so I wanted to show in this race not only the AI strength seems to be too much, but how inconsistent it was, because I was catching them a lot of times in the corner, but then when I went down the straight they would fly past me down the end of the straight and then all of a sudden slow up again in the corners or right at the apex of the corner. So the AI was very uneven, and I did have to have a lot of goes to do this particular race. And I'll show you in the second half of the race some of the different camera angles that you've got access to. But it was a bit frustrating. But as a potential, or like for hot lapping, this game is terrific, and I think it could be car related as well, because I tried a few other cars and they didn't seem to have as big a problem. But you know, this is something that can all be fixed. So let's have a look at the race now. So this is Michael signing out for SingleRacer. I'll catch you next time. See you later, and let's go racing. Oh, and I do think AMS2 is still absolutely worth it. Okay, see ya.